Hi, this is Winged again, and I'm here to communicate about setting process and how we set up the process that I've been communicating about through all the other interviews, about the forgiveness processes, the corrective applications, so that dimensional beings are able to prepare themselves for assisting and supporting human beings as one with themselves here on Earth. Throughout the dimensional process, Eagle basically implemented his process that he experienced with his realizations as collective processes within the dimensions. So he used his process and imprinted it within the dimensions so that all dimensional beings are able to experience this and allow themselves the realizations of who they are, as Eagle realized himself as who he is. As all as one is equal. So one of the first processes that we placed in was the flower process. This was quite an interesting process. For instance, there would be set up a specific process, but now it would be like this world. You'd walk into a virtual reality manifestation of Earth, human beings, and this world. And then you'd walk through a life, an entire life. For instance, we're able to compound get to the age of about 45 years old in 1 minute Earth time. So we'd had actual complete life experiences in the dimensional existence as virtual reality processes that have been set up. So for instance, let's say, in terms of applying in every single moment, applying honesty in every single moment, what would happen is you'd be placed into a virtual reality manifestation of this world. You'd be born, you'd go through your life, and accordingly you'd be applying yourself according to every moment's application. Or you would be placed into a virtual reality manifestation of Earth, and you'd be placed in various situations, and you'd have to only apply in the moment. And then when you get to the end of the process to be placed in, there was this flower, this huge flower. It was placed as the flower of infinity. So when you've gotten to the end and you've succeeded in proving to yourself that you're able to act in the moment that is best for all as one, as equal in existence, you'd have the flower imprinted within and as you. In other words, you've proven to yourself that you stand as the moment and that you'll act in the moment and speak in the moment appropriately, and taking into consideration not only yourself but yourself as all as one is equal. And that's how the processes worked. So then you'd have your flower imprint. But if you did not prove it to yourself and there were moments that you failed, the flower would knock you back to the beginning and you had to do it all over again. Until you've proven to yourself effectively that in any given moment, no matter where you are, what you do with who you are, what situation you're experiencing, that in that moment you will act and speak for what is best for all as one is equal in every single moment, no matter what. And that's for instance how one of the processes has been set up. Then there was another one, which is quite fun. During the process, Eagle and his fiancée was in a car. They were on their way home, and they were on a highway, and it was raining extensively, and the road was completely wet. So they were driving upwards. It was on a hill. They were driving upwards, and cars were coming down, and it was misty, rainy, wet, bad weather. And during this period, there were dimensional beings trying to remove Eagle from this world, kill him, because of what he was placing within process, actually starting the process of bringing everyone to and as one as an equality. Because of course there would beings be wanting to remove him, because he's basically removing all the enslavement, all the control, all the deception within existence, as beings that were of authority, that wanted to control and be God of existence and mess up this earth and human beings. So as Eagle was driving up with the car, His fiancée was also in the seat next to him, with no seat belt, and a car was coming down. Now, in that moment, in one moment, a demon of certain beings who wanted Eagle to die integrated into a man that was driving in a white buggy coming down. And in that car was a little child. So the demon within the man swayed the car, and Eagle had a choice. He couldn't turn right, because if he would turn right, he would knock all the other cars coming down, and the car that was turning into him would probably roll and someone would die. And basically, if he would turn right, both him and his girlfriend would die. So he had 3 seconds to look at what it was doing, because the car just suddenly swerved. And so when the car swerved, the buggy swerved that was coming down, Eagle just slightly turned left, because he didn't want to hit any other cars, because he knew if he could slightly turn left, he would end up on the side of the road. The car behind him would be able to stop, and this car would sway this way, and those other cars would be fine. So Eagle and them were not badly hurt, but hurt, and there was a baby that died in the car that was coming down. And it was fascinating, because in that moment the baby of the family gave up, the being as the baby gave up his life, so that Bernard Eagle is able to live and continue with this process. And with that entire experience, there were dimensional beings assisting in that moment. In other words, there were beings that integrated into Eagle and Eagle's fiancée, so that their necks or their legs wouldn't be broken, because they could see before the 2 cars hit what was going to happen. And they saw that Bernard's fiancée would have broken her neck, and Bernard would have broken his knee. And so what they did before anything happened, they quickly integrated within both, stood there interdimensionally, and just held their physical human bodies in placement, so that they don't break their neck or break their leg. And they didn't, but they did hurt their neck extensively, and the knee was also badly hurt, but not broken. And before everything also happened, the baby also saw what was going to happen, and therefore in that moment, before Eagle or his fiancée died, chose to give up his life for them to live. So it was fascinating. The baby is perfectly fine. We spoke to the baby afterward, and the baby said, well, he's coming back in the same family very soon. So in heaven we set up a process, of acting in the moment. So we all played the part of, it was Bernard's fiance's dog, Sarah, that came in, that had passed away a few years back, that came in and supported her and Eagle in standing in and as them and supporting them not to break any bones. And so we played a part in every single being who was involved in the entire incident. So for instance, I played a part of Sarah in terms of acting in the moment and standing in, because everyone that was participating only had a moment to make sure that the scenario doesn't go out of hand. And then also we played a part as Bernard to in one moment be able to see, okay, I have to turn left. But he only had 3 seconds to make sure I have to turn left. So it's moment application. You don't have time to think. You don't have time to do anything. You only have the moment specifically. So we had moment processes in the dimensions to assist. So there are various such processes to assist with practical application here on Earth. Thank you very much. This is Winged.